Good morning, everybody. Hope you're staying warm on this fine Wednesday morning. We want to take a look at the Apostle Paul real quick to see what he has to say about this thing called the Transfiguration of Christ. The Transfiguration being that time that, remember, he went up on the mountaintop with Peter, James, and John, and suddenly there was a big to-do up there with lightning and thunder and a cloud, and Jesus appears to be radiant with such a brilliance they can hardly look. And they see Moses and Elijah. We'll get into all that maybe on Thursday, maybe tomorrow, okay? But for now, let's look at the Apostle Paul and what he has to say, because he really doesn't talk about it per se, but he talks about Jesus being revealed in and through us. This is from the 4th chapter of 2 Corinthians. And even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing. In their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of glory of Christ, who is the image of God. For we do not proclaim ourselves, we proclaim Jesus Christ as Lord, and ourselves as your slaves for Jesus' sake. For it is the God who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," who has shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Wow, what powerful words are packed in there, one after the other. And there's a lot of unpacking there, and we can't possibly do it all in just a few minutes. But for Paul, when you look at it, Jesus is constantly transfigured before us. We see his glory, but I think what Paul is saying is it's more than just us beholding. It is also us reflecting. See, if you go back just a couple of verses up into chapter 3, he talks just about that, about us reflecting that image of Christ in our lives. But it's both reflecting and it's also living it out. It's both beholding, that's what the Greek word means. We actually see it, but also we reflect it as a mirror. We are reflecting the very image of Jesus in our lives. So that opens up the question, what do people see in us? Do they see the true image of God? I like what he had to say here, how we see the image of God. We see it in the very face of Jesus Christ himself. So as we read the Gospels, as we think about them and reflect on them in our minds, little different meaning of the word reflection, but as we contemplate them, as we try to put it all together, do we see the glory of God in that very face of Jesus, who walked this earth, walked among us, lived among us, came to live and die for us? And the glory of that is, for the Apostle Paul, the cross. Through the cross, Jesus has given us new hope, new life, especially through this resurrection from the dead. So this is a very appropriate lesson from the Apostle Paul, although I'll be perfectly honest with you, you have to read most of chapter 3 and all of chapter 4 to really get the full impact of what he's saying. And you can then start putting it all together, that it is in our lives that the world sees the transfiguration of Jesus Christ right before their very eyes, as we are transformed by his love and live out that love. Well, you can see my pal here, Berta, has been kind of bugging me the whole time I've been talking, but it's because, hey, Berta loves being out in the snow, believe it or not. She just loves it out here, just like our dog Gino, and I don't know if you can see him digging up something in the snow there right now, but he's out there. Hopefully you have time to go out and enjoy a little bit of this winter wonderland we are surrounded by. God's blessings be with you. We'll see you later.